I'm Tony Marinara from the Outsider channel, and I don't know if you guys have noticed since we've been live for 5 seconds, but I've done some redesigning of the place. Hello, Scott Polasek. Probably saying your name wrong. Fellow Patreon member and brethren of the group rides we go on. We've got let me go through the new design. We got a nice, well, first of all, we got a plant right there, and we've got Pupper Pip's shadow foliage picture right there. A cool pine cone that I found in Idlewild a long time ago. We've got Groot, fellow Fallout Boy, not the band, the video game. My VW Bug. This is weird to do from backwards. Top of the World Trail, what you got at Whistler. Some of my favorite YouTubers and brands here. And then my VW Lego bus with me and my bike right there. So welcome to the new studio, I guess you could say. It's not really new, but it's redesigned, and I hope you guys have some cool stuff to stare at besides just me and some weird background with garbage around it, which was the first week. I didn't even really think about it. I have my wife to thank for the redesign and the idea of it, but the stickers are all mine. I've got a special guest for you guys tonight. We'll bring him in a few minutes once we get past the little intro, and we want to talk about something that's going on this week. See who's in the chat right now. We've got Andy, Scott, Octodad, Mike on a bike. Hello. We got Buddy Beater, who somehow has been old enough to see my old skate videos from back in the day. So thanks, Buddy Beater. I appreciate the little shout out from there. I worked hard on those back in the day, and I'm still paying the price with my legs and my back. As you get older, those injuries come back and haunt you. They sure do. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Lil Yoda? Thanks for the little shout out there on the bus, Octodad. Appreciate you. And whoa, got the YouTube in the background there. So first thing is first here. What we're going to do is talk about my special little event I've got going on. It's not my event. Let me start over. I'm hosting the intermediate group of the YT e-bike ride this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the YT Mill. There's going to be breakfast snacks before the ride and a little bit of coffees and things like that. And I think our friend Mark from the segment will be doing the beginner ride. And also Anthony from the YT Mob will be doing the advanced ride. So for those of you that want to come and join, that are here, that are listening, or even for later in the stream, come and join. It's 10 o'clock. We're going to do a short ride. It's going to be probably about an hour e-bike ride. And maybe if you haven't gotten an e-bike yet and are curious, maybe the YT Mill can provide one for you. Give them a call tomorrow. Hopefully there's some left for you. And then after the ride, they're going to have beers and pizza and food and all the good things and all the good peoples. I'm sure you're going to get some special guests there. I'm assuming Cab's going to be there, Steve Caballero, and some other YT riders that are in the area. It's kind of a big thing, and I hope to see you there. Come and say, "Hey, what's up, Tony?" Just like that. Point at me, make a scene, and say hello. I'll be, like I said, I'll be hosting the intermediate group ride. So if you guys want to come and ride with me, come and say hello, join my group, and all are welcome, all levels. Steph's here. Hello, what's up, Steph? Yeah, 1 hour group rides are the best there. It's a good combo because it involves the hangout and the ride after all in one shot. They're both priorities because that's what a group ride's about, right? It's about hanging out on the bike, riding bikes together, and then hanging out after and getting to know some new people, some new friends, and new people in the community. Without further ado, this time I'm going to be joined, before I get to the news and before I get to the questions of the week, because we've got a couple. I've got a little one sheet here. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you can see that because I'm showing it to the camera. But my stupid printer is almost out of black ink, so I don't know if you can see this. The sentences are like barely legible, so I'm going to do my best to read the news of the week this week and try to go off memory here and see what I can do with what I have, because the tools in my studio apparently are in disrepair, and I need my wife's help at all times. So she needs to help me with the printer. Apparently, I don't know. Anyway, let's bring in our special guest, Adam.
I'm so stoked to be here, dude.
Adam is our surprise guest, everybody. Adam Mock, he's got his own YouTube channel. He is an athlete of the mind. Have you ever been
Oh, I
called
like
that?
that. I like that. Mind
He's a good
athletic.
friend of mine and a good friend of the channel and a good friend of you guys, I'm sure, out there. Adam, what's going on, man?
Well, first of all, I got to say, I'm so stoked to see you wearing your actual brand. Like,
I'll
his
never do
Tony,
that.
for those who don't know, Tony does not rep himself like with his own merch. So it's so cool to see you doing that. Also, I got to get you a sticker because I really want to make it on your shelf wall.
Yeah.
Shelf wall.
Yeah. I need one. I don't think I have one. I actually looked today. These are just
Really?
what I have available. So we're going to add to this week by week.
Oh, really? I'm
Mhm.
stoked. So next time I see you, I'm gonna give you a sticker.
There you go.
By the
That
way,
sounds good.
like Tony mentioned to you all that he's going to be doing the intermediate ride at YT, and Mark's doing the beginner ride, and Anthony, I think you said, is doing like the advanced one. Hey,
Mhm.
what a great opportunity to hang out with the outsider and Mark the segment, even Anthony, depending on where your skill level is. Like, take advantage of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Go
And
do
it's
the
not
things.
often you get a group ride where there's all levels that are accounted for and doing different rides, right? I don't know if
Yeah,
I said that right, but there'll be different trails for different skill groups. So there won't be, hopefully, as crazy mad traffic jam on the trails, but a little something for everybody.
I love it, and honestly, because I'm a big fan of you and Mark's, I just think that's cool. I wish I could make it. I'm not able to be there. I'm actually going to be doing the Palm Canyon Epic that this Saturday, but I'm stoked that people have
Well,
access
that's a
to
damn good excuse not to do it. There's gonna be one.
I love, I love that.
Hey, did you a little background for you guys? Adam and I myself and the wives had a double date dinner last night, and I found out Adam is supposed to be getting a new vehicle. Did you get the vehicle today?
No, so I'm getting it
Oh my
tomorrow.
gosh.
I got the new. Listen, I'm a big Subaru Outback. I love the wagon, the Subaru Outback.
Does it
But
look like this?
yeah, kind of, but exactly like totally different.
Literally. Yes, but it has wheels on it.
It has wheels on it. But I love like I'm a big Outback fan, and they came out last year with a model called the Wilderness, and it's just a geeky model, right? It's like it's a little higher. It looks kind of badass and Mad Max, and we ordered one, and it came in, and so tomorrow when Sarah gets off of work, we're going to pick it up, and I'm
So
really excited.
tomorrow is the day.
Tomorrow's the day. Yeah,
All
I'll have
right.
it. I'll hit you as soon as I get it because
Yeah, I
I'll
want to
see.
see a photo of this thing. It looks pretty badass from the photos and stuff I've seen of it.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. And that was a fun date. That was a fun double date last night. That was cool.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't get your whiskey though.
I didn't, but I got it right before I came on. So.
Good. Yeah, Adam disappeared to do a couple down a couple whiskey shots, I think. Get lubricated. We've got Eric Park with the $2 super sticker. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. I think what I'm going to do for the super stickers, because I appreciate them so much, is turn into the meatball.
What?
So,
how did you do that?
I don't really know. It just happens when I get super stickers. So what I'm going to do is just say thank you to Eric. And
That's so awesome. What?
turn back into myself there, Eric. Thank you so much, my friend.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I'm just realizing you have like some of the dopest people in your chat. I see that Steph's in there, and Steph, I hope your chin and mouth is healing up from the ride this weekend. Steph, I guess I wasn't on the ride. I joined afterward, but Steph kind of took a spill. Octodad, how cool is it that like New Zealand is represented? Octodad's like such a fan of so many of us in SoCal, and I think that's dope that Marty is.
He's in New Zealand right now. If he could tell us what time and day it is, that would be great.
Yeah, he's just so cool. Like if you follow Octodad, like he's got all like this land and this farmland, like they build trails and the kids are all out there. And so I just think it's so cool that he's like into you and Mark, and
That's great.
he's been supportive of me. I think Marty's a really, really great guy.
So it's Marty. Octodad is Marty. Good to know that.
Octodad is Marty. I see Doug is in here. I see Kaz is in here. Kaz is a photographer. You attract some good people, man.
It's the people that make it. Honestly, like most of these people, well, not most of them. Some of them I'm noticing, and I'll say one of my favorite things that happened this week, my meatball of the week, I'll tell you right now, is the Patreon group ride we had. Sorry you couldn't make it. You had work to do, but you met us after for the beers at Laguna Beer Company. We did Laguna Beach, we did Emerald Trail and TNA, and had a blast with a lot of these people that are here right now.
I love it.
And
Oh, Scott's in here too. Scott's a big supporter. Scott's a great guy.
oh yeah, I'm taking a look at the chat right now.
Mhm.
This looks like a lot of people that were on the group ride this. So thanks for everybody that's joining us right now.
By the way,
Appreciate it.
speaking of group rides, what I love about you, Tony, it's kind of cheeky. Like you're like, you take a trail like TNA, and you're like, yeah, it's mostly blue, a little bit of black, and then the majority of the people hit it, and they're like, that's all black. That's all black.
It does have some bits. Yeah, I mean, I've ridden that trail so many times, so it's like memorized. So I just throw it out there as blue. But yeah, the definite black, the black is definitely at the end for sure. That part, even for me, my foot came off this week, and I was like,
Oh,
ugh.
did it really?
One of those things, yeah.
Which part? It was in the rocky bits.
The rocky bit at the end, yeah. The little drop there at the end.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's stuff right there. Yeah, I went head first, and my chin's okay. My wife saw the video and she was concerned. She left her ass off, but that's good. She,
yeah. Steph, by the way, on your ride, Steph, did you have the baby? Like Steph's wife, I think, was due that day.
Oh yeah,
or possibly heading into labor. You got to let us know.
We've got Doug.
That's so dumb.
Doug, thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. And Eric, I see you too with the 99-cent slapper on the back of Doug's $20. I appreciate it every time. Mr. Meatball says thank you very much.
Okay, I think that's awesome. Okay, you know what's funny? Before you just kind of like brought me on, you were saying like, come and say hello to me. I love that. I have to tell everybody, this is super cool for me to be on this live with you, because I was a fan of yours. Like I started mountain biking, and like everyone who starts mountain biking, we start YouTubing. Like
that's what I did.
Yeah. And I find you, and I was like, I like that guy. Like I'm learning trails, and I became a fan of yours, which was really, really great. So I remember you saying back then, like, hey, if you see me on the trail, throw me a hey outsider. And I always like, am I going to run into the outsider today? Like he sometimes hits my locals, like like Aliso or Laguna or something. And I never saw you in the wild. Like, wow, I never saw you in the wild. But to become friends with you and then to be on this and stuff, like it's fun to be like, hey, outsider. Like,
hey, how you doing? That's awesome. I met you. The first time I met you was a path bike ride. I think at the end of it, I showed up late and I saw you there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, absolutely. And that's when I met you. And to your credit, what meant a lot to me that day is I think the first thing you said when you saw me was, hey, I know that face.
Yeah.
And as like a beginning YouTuber to somebody who has like paved the way for so many of us, I was like, that's so dope that like, Tony took the time to at least recognize and to say hey like that. That was cool.
No, I'm like, yeah, I knew who you were. I've watched your videos. I watch a lot. So I'm a nerd. Like I'll just sit there on YouTube on the home channel and see what's recommended, because I want to see what's new and what people are doing around. It usually shows me people in our area, because it's like I'll when I do research for trails, I'll see what's out there, right? I'll see if there's a new trail in town, or if what the ride's like at Greer, what's going on. And what I'll usually do is hold on, I got a text here from my dad.
Oh, you got to take the text from your dad. I'm going to eat a mozzarella stick while you're
all right. My dad can wait. Where was I, Adam? You got to keep me on track.
You watch the vids. You watch the videos.
I do. I'm a video game nerd, and I saw some of yours, and I always like the ones that are telling a story, and they're not just, everybody has their own style, but I really like when somebody is new and they already know, like, it's not just about turning the camera on, filming your ride, the whole thing raw, and then just putting it up on YouTube, like creating an edit and storyboard and having a theme to the video, things like that. That's like I know how much time that goes into that. So I noticed you did that. And we're focusing in on things. So I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, this guy's got something. He's got something.
Yeah. See, like that makes my heart smile. I appreciate that. Listen, knowledge just dropped on all of you, you budding YouTubers. This is honestly really key. Like find your voice. It's not, even though there's a lot of us out there, like if you find your voice, you find your niche. I know sometimes people say niche, but it's actually niche. So like you find your niche. And that's cool because that shows you that even though there's a big pool of us, there's something for everybody, and some people actually need to hear your voice. So I really encourage you to find it. I fell in love with mountain biking and felt capable and explored trails and even started a channel, honestly, because of people like Tony, like becoming a fan of Tony and watching him just put himself out there, which is really a vulnerable thing. But if you can find your voice in it, it makes all the difference. That's what is going to separate you from everybody else, I think, right?
Yeah, I think really just being yourself. I mean, you have friends, you have people, you have family that get to know you. If
Yeah.
you can somehow slice through the layers and just get to the core of who you are on camera and be comfortable, it takes a little while at first, but that's the stuff. That's
Yeah.
what people will gravitate towards, I think, and not just like turn the camera on and freeze, because it's hard not to do that, because right now there's a light blaring in my face and there's a video camera pointed at me and I got a microphone. It's hard to feel authentic in that moment, but you can kind of forget about it after a while, right? Like you kind of just get used to it. I know you do. We got some friends in here. We got MTV Raging.
Hey,
Adam, very good to see you. I haven't seen either of you since New Year's Day. That's true. We had a good day that day.
that's true. Yeah. By the way, I know you're going through the comments, but to your credit, you're very comfortable in front of the camera. Like
Thank you, Adam. You're always giving me my flowers.
I try, man. Like it's important to me, right? Like we live in this day and age where it can be an uncomfortable thing, but like I want people to know when they're doing well and they're affecting people for the better. And I told you first chance I got, like you definitely influenced me to start a channel and to feel capable in starting a channel, even, that I could have like a seat at the table for that.
That's awesome.
So thank you for that.
I love Tony's meatball jokes. I love them too.
Me too.
Heather's cookies look amazing as well. Heather is an amazing cookie chef. Is that a thing? Cookie chef. If you guys, yeah, my wife is very talented in a range of things. Very, very creative.
Tony was actually sharing me some of like what Heather had made. Like she had made a pupper pip. It's outstanding. I was asking him, like, do you get like the best cookies for your birthday and stuff like that? So I'm a little jealous.
I do. They look so good. I told you last night they're hard to eat. All right, let me move on to the news of the week here.
All right, do it.
I'm going to try to read from this half-assed sheet of paper here, but let me just summarize and then we can chat about it.
I love your printer just doing the dirty.
Okay, so here's something for local news. Hikers are banned from the Super Bloom in Riverside at Walker Canyon. During the 2019 Super Bloom, visitors to Walker Canyon near Lake Elsinore behaved so badly that officials decided to completely shut down hiking trails rather than risk a repeat. Quote, the last time was like out of a movie. There was not a neighborhood that wasn't impacted by gridlock. Our freeway exits into the city were jammed. The freeway was completely stopped with people getting out of their cars. Our first responders were having challenges getting through the traffic. The flowers were beautiful, but the scene was a nightmare. Wow. I read that today. Isn't that crazy? So when I first read this story, I was like, finally hikers are getting some crap, not just the mountain bikers, right? And then
e-hikers.
And then I'm like, well, I thought it was because the hikers were going to be trampling flowers and doing things like that, but it's not. It's the Super Bloom is such a crazy thing, which I didn't know how crazy it was, that the highways are getting shut down. What the hell?
Really?
Yeah, like she said that like the first responders couldn't even get to the houses, and it was like one of those, like, I don't know, storm situations where there's that the highways are shut down and locked down and gridlock everywhere. I thought that was pretty interesting because I had no idea that people got that crazy about the Super Bloom.
I know it's popular, but like move out of the way for your first responders.
No. Or why are people getting out of their cars on the highway to go and look at flowers? Like, what the hell? Like, they're not that fun.
Decisions. They're not making good decisions. Right? By the way, Michelle Park is throwing a lot of flowers to everybody's way in the chat. Thanks, Michelle.
Let's see. Adam, you're very inspiring.
That's nice.
And Tony is so cool.
Yeah, you are cool, Tony. That's a thing. You get to wear a shirt that says I'm cool.
This is basically the closest you're going to get.
I want one of those.
Eric is just sparking the meatball. Eric, thank you very much.
This is so wild.
Does it look weird? Does it look like
it
that?
It looks appropriate. It reminds me of like when you come across an Easter egg in a video game and you're like, look, that's the meatball I was telling you about. Are you happy over that tomato to your right?
Yeah. All right. The second piece of local news I've got. This one's weird. This one's kind of sketchy. A skydiver slammed into a house after his parachute failed, and he survived. The man plunged into a residential neighborhood in Oceanside, California, and escaped with non-life-threatening injuries. He had jumped from an airplane operated by local skydiving company Go Jump Oceanside when his parachute failed to deploy. He was in complete free fall. Partially open parachute slowed his descent. However, the local fire department told reporters he plummeted to the ground at an accelerated pace that was uncontrollable. The man crashed into a residential neighborhood and struck the roof of a two-story home before coming to land in an adjacent yard. Eyewitnesses said the entire house shook when the skydiver impacted their roof. She and her husband watched the man fall from the house into their front yard. We stood there in like shock, she said. He has to be dead, but he looks so hungry. I offered him some meatballs just in case. So this is what's happening when we're working. These are the things that are happening on a daily basis around us, and we have no idea what's going on, Adam. People are diving into rooftops when we're eating breakfast.
Okay, so we had an earthquake last week, and I felt it in the middle of the night, and now I'm starting to second guess. Was it an earthquake? Or did
it was a man that fell onto your roof, obviously. And please offer him a meatball.
Did you add the meatball part, or is that legit?
I think that was part of the news story.
What?
Yeah, she offered him. That's for sure why I picked it. What's the difference between an asteroid and a meatball? One is a meteor. Ooh, Marty,
Octodad, bringing it.
Octodad with. Oh, we've got the segment here. What up, Mark? I thought that maybe you had one tonight. I didn't know if we were cutting you off. Good to see you.
He had a podcast tonight. Mark, this is what's cool about Mark, you all. This is why you should support the segment. Mark had a podcast, and he knew Tony was doing a live. So when Mark knows someone else is doing a podcast, like in the SoCal scene, I guess, or in the circle, or people in his life, Mark literally will just cut it off and be like, "Hey, go bounce to this other show. You keep the party." He's a good dude.
Yeah, he said he just finished.
Oh, so nice.
All right. I've got some questions here, Adam. You want to join in on these with me?
Yeah, I want to hear what your answers are to these questions.
Yeah, you're here, obviously, so you have to.
I'm in for the ride, Tony.
It's kind of a rhetorical question, I guess.
Okay.
All right. First question is, what do you think of all these YouTubers thinking they're comedians? Question mark. That's all I got.
All of these YouTubers?
I don't know. I mean, I know what they're. I know the gist of it is basically like the shorts have become popular, so people have moved from like just long form content to skits.
So, what do you think of that?
I think it's cool. I think some people are better at it than others. I think sometimes they can look a little forced. Like you can kind of tell when somebody's doing it for the views versus somebody that's very like Colorado Kid killing it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's a natural.
I feel like he came into this, was his shtick, and the planets aligned, and he was able to, like, at the same time this format became popular, he just fit right in there. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a product of what you're saying. Like YouTube is really pushing the idea that shorts. So like if you're a YouTuber, you can monetize shorts even now. And obviously Instagram promotes reels. And so you're kind of forced to adapt and to try this short form content. I'd say have some grace for people if they're not coming across as funny as you'd like them to. A lot of people are just finding their voice, and not everyone can be a Joe, like a Colorado Kid.
Right.
Who absolutely is killing it. And by the way, like he's a good looking dude. Like to see him in real life, I remember being like, "You're a good looking dude." Yeah. It's just I was taken aback.
Like,
it's the mustache. But I don't mind it. Look at everything evolves. And so this kind of short form content, people have to, the only way you get good at it is to kind of get your reps in and to stumble. Have some grace with it. If people aren't as funny as you think, not everything's going to be a winner.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's like finding your voice. It's like starting a channel. Like you don't know how good you're going to be, or if you're going to be good, or if you're going to like what you do until you put it out there, and then you just be the judge. You yourself look at it and just be like, what do I like that? Am I comfortable? What do I need to change? Is that me? Because sometimes at first it's hard to be you.
It is. Well, so Tony, I got to ask you, because you're prolific in the content. Do you still hold to the idea of like, I'm making content I want to watch?
Yeah. That's kind of the only way I'm able to make it. Like if I watch it or if I'm creating it and it feels like I'm forcing it, it hasn't really happened because I'll have an idea and I'll be like, I want to try this. And then
Mhm.
if I decide to put my time into it, I kind of have an idea I'm gonna like it. Because if I like editing it or if I like creating it, then I think in the end that's gonna come out. The idea that if I'm ever making content that I don't really have fun and I feel like it's a job, I feel like
Yeah.
that's gonna come out the other end too.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm being honest with myself, I feel like
I think you've been, yeah, I think you've kept your integrity, and you've been very congruent in creating content that it seems to come across that you really enjoy the content that you've made. So
Octodad says bromance.
I love Tony. I'm not ashamed of it.
What does this mean? Shorts are okay for some. Oh, he got me. Marty's
Oh,
the
look
one
at,
line guy.
he's quick.
Yeah.
He's quick.
Tony House Pup. Pip is good. He's right here.
Oh, where is he?
That's from Adam's
Oh,
drawing. So for those of you that haven't been following, a couple of years ago, Pip had cancer twice, and he had to get operated on. Sausage. And he is right now cancer free. He's doing really well. We've got him on a great diet. Pip is doing fantastic. He's back to himself. You know what's crazy? I had to double check this, but my wife told me Pip is like 9 years old now, which is crazy because
what?
people still think he's a puppy. Yeah.
Well, he's so adorable, but he's 9.
He's 9 years old now. 9 times. He's
Are you
9
gonna
years
kick him
old.
out soon? Are you gonna say you're old enough to live on your own, Pip?
He
Time
doesn't
to.
pay any rent. He doesn't, and he's too old now to get a job. So we're just gonna have to look after him. He managed to skip over the whole get a job period of his young life.
I had to say my first time meeting Pip was adorable because it was actually at Dionyse. It's weird. I'm wearing the shirt, but it was at
Oh, wow.
Dionyse. I didn't even know you were going to show up. I was trying on pants and you just happened to show up, probably because I was trying on pants. But you brought Pip with you, and Pip came around the corner, and Sarah, my wife, saw Pip and was like, oh my gosh. And I opened up the dressing room like curtain, and Pip was like, I don't even, what ethnicity are you? I'm scared. And he took off.
Who is this person? Do you have pets? Michelle wants to know.
I don't have official pets. I was telling Tony, his wife Heather, last night. Sarah and I have some pet crows and a squirrel. We actually have about 20 crows that come out every morning to visit us. No joke. And we feed them cashews, and they're wonderful. So it's kind of like the best part of having a pet. Like they go off and do their thing. Yeah, I get to say hello in the morning.
I mean, and you don't have to look after them or feed them every day. You can feed them when you want to.
Technically, but they're going to get offended if a few days go by, they get the stink eye. Like, did you what? Where's the cashews, Adam?
Yeah, cashews are tough. I mean, they're
Meatball
expensive. Time. You can thank Jeff for this one. Thank you. I almost want to say like Snapchat every time, but it's a super chat. So thank you, Jeff. Jeff is a Patreon member and fellow group ride enthusiast, and as many e-bikers that come on the ride, Jeff is sticking to the analog.
Oh, I like that term, group ride enthusiast. That's a whole other niche, isn't it?
Jeff always is there, man. He's been a supporter of the channel almost since day one. I appreciate you, buddy.
So cool.
Fastest MTB YouTuber. I'll take it and run with it.
Oh my, yeah, dude, you are fast. I don't make any bones about it. Like I'm not fast, but when I ride with Tony, to his credit, he's gracious enough. He knows the stopping points, and we catch up and we chat and we continue. And for probably 10 seconds, I can see Tony. But Tony at his worst day is incredibly fast. So yeah,
I appreciate it. All right, let's get to our last question of the week.
Okay.
No, second to last. Is weekly workouts versus daily rides or a combo of both? What is your present regimen for and future goals? This is kind of a short and sweet answer. I've been really terrible about going to the gym, and I'm about to join a gym right now, rejoin, because I was being real lazy about it. Because if I'm riding the e-bike, I need to get that like strenuous workout. Snapping my fingers, and get like a routine going, because I'm on a weight loss dichotomy. That's not the right word to use right there, but you get it. And Yeah. What do you do, Adam? Do you work out or do you have a regimen or you do?
Yeah, so I used to work out about 5 times a week, lifting weights and things like that. But right now, I'm trying to get back to a normal rhythm of riding,
Yeah.
working out, and yoga.
Yoga as well. That's a good one to throw in there. I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
want to keep the flexibility. But dude, you're looking good. Honestly, credit
Oh,
to you.
thank you,
You're
sir.
looking good. I know it's not easy to start those kinds of things, but you're looking great.
Yeah, it's the routine that's the tough part. It's changing bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Last question. What's your ultimate goal with your YouTube channel?
Oh,
Subs,
that's a
monthly
deep one.
revenue? Huh?
That's a good one.
It's a big, I mean, that's a big question. So I don't really know. When I first started, it was like get to 1,000 subscribers, and then it was like get to 10,000, and then I was like, well, right now I don't really care. It's not that I don't care about the subscribers. I care about the views. Obviously, this is my lifestyle, and I care if people watch it. That's what I care about. I care if people tune in. But I used to really be obsessed with my subscriber numbers in the beginning. Like every little one counted. But these days, I feel like I try to focus less on that, and I'm having more fun because you can get burnt out pretty easy if as a YouTuber, if your happiness depends on the numbers, those things fluctuate and go up and down so crazily that your mood's gonna be dependent on just some like don't basically like this. Don't use your subscriber count as your happiness or your worth for the channel because people are tuning in. And if you have a loyal
Mhm.
audience, which I feel like I do, that are tuning in every week, that's what I appreciate. I'm making content for myself and for the people that really care about what I'm doing. And as
Mhm.
far as long-term goals, I just want to see if I can do this for a couple more years and see where it brings me. Every year it brings me to new places, new people I meet, new communities, and that's my little tangent there. How about you, Adam?
Well, I just want to give you credit, honestly, because I've been there since kind of the early days of your channel. I think when I jumped on, you had a few thousand people, which is still a lot. Um, but yeah, man, like I'm with you for however this evolves, and I would really encourage everybody who's listening to this right now live or is going to watch it later. Um, Listen, there's more to life than bikes, and I know that's tough because we're mountain biking channels. But Tony's like he's got a whole journalistic background, and he has a lot of things to say. And I don't know where he's going to evolve this to, but I got to tell you, man, like I'm in for however you evolve this, and I hope all of you are in for it because he doesn't half-ass these things. He really puts a lot of intentionality towards what he's creating, and this is free content for crying out loud. Like we just get to tune in and be like, "This is free content," you know. And you do us all a real service when you're breaking down trails or telling us where we can stay or where we can eat and beautiful places that we can visit. My greatest hope for you, man, is like that the mountain biking would evolve into something so much bigger that feels more holistically lifestyle for all of us because we're all bigger than what we do on the trails. And I think you really bring a
Yeah,
good perspective to all of that.
yeah, we've talked a little bit about that. I mean, and before we go any further, if you guys have any questions in the comment feed, throw them in right now in the question section, and I'll do my best to get to them. But I really like we've talked a little bit about that, Adam. I really like to be able to do mountain bike content and cross over into doing some other things and try some fun new things, whether it be about food or anything that I want to, you know,
Yeah.
without being too crazy.
Mhm.
Outdoors motivated, food. You guys know I love my Italian food, my meatballs. Obviously, I turn into one. So
I'm in for the ride, Tony. I'm totally in for the ride for however you do it. I know like you had to ask me where I'm going even with mine. When I started my channel, of course it's mountain biking, but the idea was to to try and illustrate how the trails can even teach us about life. And as I'm finding my voice more in that, it's inevitable that things expand. Technology grows, we grow as people, and we want to tap into those things. So I really hope that the following that you've worked so hard to build keeps with you on all of that stuff and doesn't
thanks, man.
it doesn't feel like, oh, it's not mountain biking, so I got to bounce. Like you're going to miss out on a whole wealth of knowledge and depth and getting to know someone who's just a quality person.
I appreciate this. Kaz said the Whistler video is like watching a show on his own. I mean,
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
really love making these little history things. this week's we'll move that into one more question. I've got one more question here I've written down from Dirt Rider TV. Top tip for someone who wants to get into content creation or something that you wish you knew then, that you wish that you don't know now, or vice versa. I'm reading that wrong. You know what the gist of it is. For me, it's we went over this a little bit. Is just be yourself and make the video before trying to think about excuses not to. Just create the content and learn from it, because that's kind of what I started doing. I started making little videos for my wife and Pip when I used to go on rides, and then she's like, you should just start doing this for YouTube. Like, you're doing it anyway, you're doing the work. So I started uploading them to YouTube, and I was like, I started focusing on trail guides, and eventually you guys found them useful. So I don't know, what do you have any
I think that's great advice. I would say there's this other component that's not often talked about, and maybe to put it succinctly, I would encourage you, be interested, not interesting all the time. Meaning, if you're wanting to build followers, you better be willing to follow people and engage with them authentically, and comment and support other channels who have kind of paved the way. This is exactly what I did with Tony, and I mean it. I used to comment religiously on every video he put out because I know the work that he put into it. And so I would encourage you, make sure that you're willing to give out, because you can't give something that you don't have, but give out what you're wanting to get back from people as a content creator, and become a part of the community. See how you can support, comment, like, subscribe, like all the stuff that feels really redundant but means so much to all of us, because that will come back to you. Become a part of the community, and this community is very tight. It's very tight right now.
Yeah, it seems so hard to get noticed. When you get into it, it seems so big, but it really is smaller than you think, especially when you start seeing the same people on the trails and just little things like that. Like I could go on and on about this topic for hours, but I will digress. All right.
Well, it's a good one, because that's a good question. I think a lot of people want to know, especially from you, because Mark, the segment, just even put in that Tony mentors all of us smaller channels. You all have to know, Tony is not stingy with his experience or his knowledge. Me, Mark, a ton of us hit Tony up and we're like, hey man, what do you think about this? Everything from like thumbnails to what we're thinking about doing, because Tony was like, he was ahead of us, just like he is today on the trails. If you ride with him, he's ahead of us on those things. And so he's able to honestly kind of tell us what's coming, and he's cool enough to hold loosely to the wisdom that he drops. He'll tell us, but he's actually really excited whether or not we follow it. He's just excited to see what we do.
I mean, that's important. You don't have to listen to me, but you could take it or leave it. But this is what I found, and if I could save any of you guys, the months or the weeks or the mistakes I made, and just go to from here to the green, why not? And we all have our different styles too, like you said. So I don't expect anybody, like, I don't know. I'm not the go all. I mean, I'm a small channel comparatively to other channels. You know what I mean? Like, so I always compare myself to things I shouldn't. In skateboarding, I did it. In mountain biking, I do it. In YouTube, I do it. It's kind of unfair to myself, but that's just kind of what I do. Like, the bar is always way here, and if you get here, it just raises up. But then again, the healthy thing is that keeps pushing you, and gives you somewhere to go to get better. So I'm
and by the way, if you're going to create content, you better grow a thick skin, because you can't please everybody. We were talking about this last night. Like, you just can't please everyone.
Yeah. Doug is a great guy. Doug is one of my. He's part of the Patreon group, and I want to say he's the soul of our Patreon community.
I would agree. He's a guy you all have to meet, Doug, because he just makes like your heart swell with just feel good. Warm fuzzies is what they call it.
He's a great guy. All right, let's move on to the following segments. Adam, are you ready?
Yeah. Well, no, but yeah, let's go.
What's the movie or show of the week that you've got going on?
What's the what?
A movie or show of the week that you're working on. Not working on, watching.
Yeah, so right now I'm watching a Korean series on Netflix called The Glory, about a young lady who was bullied in high school, and she has plotted her revenge all the way up to adulthood. And I think I have like a couple episodes left. By the way, I would love to see you start dropping like movies or shows of the week. Some of the best things I've watched has come because Tony's hit me up to be like, hey, Adam, I think you should watch this. And then I do watch it, and I'm like, oh, that was dead on.
My favorite recommendation was Dark.
I loved Dark. I loved Dark. It was German, and you and I actually really like very similar stuff. We love documentaries, and we like stuff that like makes us think. Dark was really a great suggestion for me. The Bear on Hulu was a great suggestion.
I love that show.
Love it. What are you watching right now? You're always watching something. What are you devouring?
Well, the movie I watched this week that surprised me that I actually kind of liked, except for the ending was a bit too much, was You People. I thought it was kind of funny.
What I like? I haven't seen it. Oh, with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. The ending was like so ridiculously not realistic that even in a movie that like that was just like, all right, come on, everything's perfect, everything's fantastic, huh? Like it was like so many. It was the formula of a comedy come to fruition at the end. Like everything's worked out great.
Are you watching Shrinking on Apple TV?
No, I don't have Apple TV anymore. I gotta get it back.
Oh, it's what? Wait, what are you gonna do about like Ted Lasso?
Oh, I'll have to get it back, obviously. When's he coming back?
Shrinking is wonderful. Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. I've been into Shrinking lately. And by the way, you recommended on Apple TV Severance to me, and Severance is outstanding.
Great one. Andy says you people was awkwardly great, and I totally agree. It was almost too awkward sometimes.
Hey, Andy.
Andy, how you doing? When is Ted Lasso coming back? Mark said. Do you know?
I hope by the end of this year. It was only set for 3 seasons. That was the whole story arc to begin with. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I don't want to give any spoilers, but whether or not you like sports, it is a heartwarming series on a leadership level, because I get to do leadership coaching. I honestly think that the writers are tapping into some of the best leadership practices, because they drop a lot of knowledge that is
that's interesting. So you're seeing it from that side too.
Totally. Cool. Like I'll watch and I'll be like, this is some of the best, like most recent best practices or neuroscience and how you can affect people's behavior.
Cool. All right. Well, this is where I usually go into my videos, where I talk about we'll talk about both of ours. So my last video is Whistler. I did a quick little bio on the starts of Whistler Bike Park, and I finished it off with one of my favorite runs from top of the world down into Creekside, and then that was that, and it was really fun to make. And my next week's video I haven't even started yet. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video on Saturday of the YT e-bike ride, and then edit all day Sunday to try to get that up Monday morning. What do you have going on? What are you working on, Adam?
Well, I'm not working on anything. I should. But,
okay, well, discussion over.
I had 2 bouts of strep throat for whatever.
Oh, that's reason. True. So, Adam, really quickly here, tell everybody your little craziness with your starting with COVID, leading into the numerous sicknesses after that. You've had a bad run, buddy.
I've had a bad run. So Thanksgiving week, I got COVID to the extreme and ended up in the ER and recovered. And I was like, great. And I had a new bike and everything. I was like, I'm going to get back on this new bike. And then rains came, and you don't get to ride that much. And then I got strep throat in January, beginning of the year. They put me on a Z-Pack, which was ineffective. So the strep didn't go away. And then they had to put me on amoxicillin, which lasts longer. Finally cleared it. And then you and I think we're talking like, hey, let's go ride or something. And then I was like, I got strep again. So I got strep twice. They put me on amoxicillin again. Yep. And I just got done with it yesterday. And it was a bad run, Tony. It was a bad run.
Know. I'll give you some other news. Heather woke up sick today.
No, you are not kidding. Are you?
I hope that she didn't get you guys sick last night. I almost didn't want to even say it to you.
What? This is a great reveal for a live, by the way.
I know. She's not terrible, but she's definitely got something.
Oh, I wish her well. Today. All kinds of crap is going on right now, man. So
do you find that collab content is more successful than solo? I think it just depends on the person. Depends on what you're doing. I really like doing solo stuff, except for right now when I'm hanging out with my buddy Adam. Hey. And hey. What is there anything so Fugazi of the week? Fugazi's like a bad thing. Anything bad happened to you this week? You didn't get your car?
but I'm getting my car. I'm a pretty optimistic person. Like
I know.
I don't focus
I
on
don't
those
like
things.
having to force out the negative, but I feel like if we talk about the best show of the week, maybe we'll talk about
Yeah.
the worst show or the worst thing that happened. This is a pretty good week for me too. What
Mhm.
happened? The worst thing happened to me was this morning. I went and took an egg out of the fridge and I dropped it on the floor. And you know what happens when you
Oh,
drop eggs? They
what?
explode, right? So I had to clean that
Oh,
up.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the worst. So I have had if that's my worst thing this week, I've had a pretty darn good week. Would you say
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like you called it the Fugazi? Is that what you called it?
the
The,
Fugazi?
the Fugazi. I want
And
to make sure I pronounce
like and I think it's an Italian term where the Fugazi is like a side swipe, like somebody that's got one over on you or something
Oh,
crappy.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have to say, because I can't think of a Fugazi, but I have been enlightened since the death of oh my gosh, Cindy Williams, who played Shirley in Laverne and Shirley.
Oh.
It's been coming out. I'm dating myself because I'm 50 years old, the beginning of their intro, they would say Schlemiel Schlemazel, Hassan
Oh, I
Pfeffer
remember
Incorporated.
that.
Okay, but yes, so
Yeah.
it's been coming out that a Schlemiel is somebody who is like bumbling, is always knocking things over, and a Schlemazel is like the person who gets the stuff knocked on them. I had no idea until like
Wow.
last week.
I didn't know that either. Now
So now
you're
you know.
filling
It's
us with
like,
knowledge.
yeah, which would you rather be, the Schlemiel or the Schlemazel or the
Oh,
Fugazi? I don't know.
the
It's
schmazzles.
you want the meatball dumped on you.
Yeah. Michelle wants to know what's a bucket list MTB location for both of us. I'm going to mine in May, and it's Bentonville right now. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, Whistler's kind of the mecca that I would love to see, but I'm going to say bucket list for me right now. And Tony, to give you credits because of your videos, I want to go up to Santa Cruz and I want to hit some
Ooh,
flow.
yeah.
Yeah,
We could maybe plan a trip out or something. I'm down to go back
I would
there. We
love
should
it.
go.
I mean, not like I would keep up with you. I would love you to be the guide because I remember watching your video going, oh my God, that looks like it's everything that I love about mountain. Like I love the forest and the trees and
Yeah.
that epic adventure. And
Now is the time to
yeah,
go too. Like now into springtime. The summer gets a little bit dried out, but right now it's super fun, super good dirt.
oh, I would
And he
love it. So
says,
yeah, I'm going to put that on my bucket list. And thanks to you, it's on my bucket list.
"Oh, thanks to me. You give me a lot of flowers tonight." Andy
This is
says, "Thank
normal.
you, Adam."
I'll have to know if we weren't live. This is the way I normally am with Tony. I just like to tell him how much I appreciate him.
That's why I like you, Adam. That's why I keep you around. Just give me my flowers all day long.
I'm your gardener.
All right. We've been going on for now about almost 50 minutes. Do
Oh,
you have any parting words for us? Any wise words from Adamok?
yeah, I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw the focus to you and give you a last bouquet here, Tony. And this is sincerely from the heart. What a privilege to just be on here, to be invited on here with you, to get to know you, to become friends with you. And you all have to know, for those of you who are fans of Tony's, you haven't had a chance to meet him yet. He's totally congruent. He's a wonderful human being. His group rides are worth being a part of. Join his Patreon. He works very hard for the content he puts out. And as someone who started as a fan and became his friend, it's just so dope to see that whole plumb line was congruent all the way through. So I just want to say thank you, man. This has
Thanks,
been
man.
a pleasure, and you've been a pleasure to get to know and become friends
Thanks,
with.
man. And vice versa. Like I really didn't have any expectations in meeting. I don't ever have expectations in meeting people, but you and I really hit it off, and think the same. And I really think that knowing you has been a great addition to positivity in my life, and it's something that I
Appreciate
needed
that.
at that right time. So I really appreciate it. And then me and Adam are gonna go and make out now. And
Sweet.
but I'll have it. Let's do this again. What do you say?
I'm down, man. Just say the word and I'm in.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Outsider is gonna say goodbye till next week.
Peace and love.